America Meditating Radio Show, we collect wisdom, inspire each other, and empower hearts 24/7. Hi, I'm Sister Jenna. Join me and guest on Blog Talk Radio as we amplify stories that compel us to be more for ourselves and everyone else around us. Do you like to meditate? Have you tried to meditate? Have you struggled with meditation? Why don't you visit one of the Brahma Kumaris Meditation Center? Visit brahmakumaris.org. The Meditation Museum in Silver Spring, Maryland offers a variety of courses and activities to make your life go a whole lot smoother. Located at 9525 Georgia Avenue, you will be able to experience the beautiful silence that's in the space. There are courses in Raja Yoga meditation, positive thinking, stress-free living, and personal development classes. For more information, call us at 301-588-0144 or visit us online at meditationmuseum.org.
The Miracle Medical Clinic is a clinic that has been providing quality health care services to the Houston area since 1996. In a comfortable environment, they are dedicated to helping you live a healthy lifestyle for years to come. For more information, please call 713-464-0236 or visit us at our website at www.miraclemedicalclinic.com. The Miracle Medical Clinic, where preventive health care is waiting for you.
I'm Roger Nelson. I'm the founder and director of the Global Consciousness Project, and you are listening to America Meditating Radio Show.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. Hello, everyone. I'm Sister Jenna, and this is the America Meditating Radio Show. We're always happy when you can join us because you've got a variety of options to choose from, and yet you choose to take half an hour out of your day to basically amplify your own interior world and to be better citizens for our planet. It continues to get better with the new Trump presidency, with quite an interesting cabinet that's being built under this particular level of rulership. And we're getting a lot of notes. There's just a lot of concern in terms of individuals really moving America to what I think is a very, and I'm saying this with all due respect, just a very Caucasian American, so I'm not quite sure how everyone else is interpreting it, but it just seems that a lot of the individuals that he has brought in his cabinet are individuals who definitely will not be supporting the presidency that was running the country for 8 years before. And I know that many folks are really on edge. I think we were on edge before the elections because there is a carving, a recording in every soul that is sitting there, and we all knew that something was about to give and break very big. And in many ways, we witnessed that on November the 9th, early morning. And we're continuing to witness a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxiousness. And change is what change is. You know, change is like a divorce. You were married to the same person for 2 decades. You guys got familiar with each other, kind of knew each other's strengths and weaknesses. And then a divorce comes, and all of a sudden he's moved out, taken the kids, or whatever it might be. And you're in a completely different story, and your inner world is trying to adjust. And I believe with every aspect of change, we're constantly seeking change for the better. We're seeking change for more abundance, more love, more amplification of that which is good. Nobody wants to actually change and go back to what is worse or what was a painful place, to go back into old relationships that were very toxic, and thinking that you can go back there and still find something good out of it, you know, thinking that people have changed. And I think that's where we are as a nation. There's just a lot of anxiety in the country right now, and I'm so glad that you all have the meditation museums in the nation's capital that you know you can turn to. But I have to say that I think it's really not enough to sit back and keep reading or watching the news to see what's going on, but to all the illuminaries and friends that are very passionate, I'm encouraging you now to take a stance, to get up as a collective, as a group, and let's go on the Hill and really inform individuals that I'm not quite sure if this is the best option. There's got to be another option. It just seems like an option that's beyond our comprehension as a country. And I'm an observer, but I've been taking action in many ways. And then my action point is an action point where I respect both sides and decisions of everyone. I'm just curious as to where does that get us? Where is it? And even with other countries around the world, I was thinking about the fact that we have President Putin from Russia, who now calls our president, or president-elect, wants to talk about how can we build friendships, and at the same token, we were told that that government hacked our systems, and now it's just, as much as we know political parties are at work here, so what happened to we the people by the people? Where's that constitutional conversation? We the people, by the people. Or is it just we in power for ourselves? Who cares about certain people? Then we're going to have to rewrite our whole Constitution. So many of us are talking about empowering our interior worlds because it seems as if we're going to be in a position where we physically cannot change what's happening on the exterior. I was feeling a little weepy a few days ago, and I called out the cavalry of friends, and I spoke to them about the fact that, I'm so patriotic. If anybody knows me, I don't mean patriotism in terms of, holding up a red flag with stars in it. I'm talking about patriotic in terms of values, virtues, being as good as a model citizen as I could possibly be for myself, and to encourage that with my friends and folks that are around me, to show the example of our country to the rest of the world, to the over 80 countries that I've traveled, to give a good representation of what the American story is like, or at least in my eyes, in the same way that I aim to represent my spiritual tradition of the Brahma Kumaris. I aim to represent America Meditating Radio Show in a respectful manner. I aim to, sponsor or coordinate activities or programs that I believe in, and to represent it at the highest qualitative level, where I'm still respectful of both sides, because I know that we are going to be different, but I keep coming back to one cure that can bridge our difference, bridge this diversity, keep us still holding on to what we think we believe in, or what we think works for me, and I go back to virtues. That virtues will be the only unifying factor, because even if I try to give you my position of why I think being Caucasian is better than anything else in the world, then someone else is going to feel that they've lost. If I try to make you believe that being black is the best thing in the world, and someone's going to lose. If I tell you that Republicans are the best party in the world, someone's going to feel like they've lost. Democrats are the best. Someone's going to feel like they've lost. But if I can be a virtuous Republican and a virtuous Democrat and a virtuous Caucasian and a virtuous African American, then I feel like everyone wins, because with virtues we find common ground. So I'm throwing it out there to anybody who wishes to catch it. I would like if we could start a virtuous revolution, a revolution of virtues that can create the inclusivity that we speak about on platforms, that leaders are talking about in the country on platforms. I was watching Hillary Clinton's speech the other day and President Obama's speech in Europe the other day, and just intuitively the energy in the Democratic Party right now is such a sense of beaten up. And I'm just wondering, how can we let them know that your virtues will always make you win, despite the position of power that you might hold or not hold at this time? And so call me, email me, and let's get on board and see if we can begin a revolution of virtues. You're listening to America Meditating Radio, and hold the line. We're going to get Sam Bennett on, who's a writer, actor, teacher, and a lot more. Before I get Sam on the air, let's just go back and focus a little bit on our thoughts and maybe just help ourselves to rise above all the stuff that we are feeling so queasy about. Take a deep breath from Just a Minute Meditation CD.
rising above. Taking just a minute, I imagine stepping into a hot air balloon. The balloon slowly lifting up into the blue sky. Looking down, I see the picture of my life. Any problems seem so small. I take this moment to enjoy silence, peace, and to rest my mind. As the balloon gently descends, I return to my day with a quiet and peaceful mind.
Welcome back. I hope that made you feel a whole lot better. You're listening to America Meditating Radio, and today we're proud to welcome Sam Bennett. Sam is a writer, actor, teacher, and creativity, productivity specialist. She's the creator of both the Organized Entrepreneur Company and the Organized Artist Company, organizations that are each in their own way dedicated to helping creative people get unstuck from whatever way they're stuck, especially by helping them focus and move forward on their goals. As an actor, Sam has appeared in such hit shows as Modern Family, Strong Medicine, The Drew Carey Show, and Days of Our Lives. You can also find her featured on many of the LA Theatre Works full cast audio plays, alongside with such stars as Richard Dreyfuss, Ed Begley Jr., and even Anne Archer. Sam is the best-selling author of several books, including her new release, Start Right Where You Are. Sam, America's turning to you to help us to start right where we are. Welcome to the AM show.
Thank you so much, Sister Jenna. Hi, everybody.
What do we do?
Well, we remember that the only power we have is in the present moment. That it's time to stop waiting to be happy in the future. That it's time to stop spending a lot of mental activity fussing about things that are outside of our sphere of influence. You know, the proper response to the inevitable is relaxation.
And you know, our numbers and everything are getting like so astronomically high. A lot of folks are just curling up in bed. They're not able to get out. I spoke to a lady who is a very big participant in the election process a few weeks ago, and she's just not been able to even move. A lot of money has been spent. A lot of energy has been offered to the process, and a lot of folks are exhausted, and they're kind of fed up with themselves and the country or the system at this time. Personally, for you, 20 years ago, you were in a state of where you just weren't motivated anymore. You were fed up with the self. What was it that made you turn that story around for you?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you it was one big thing, you know, that there was some lightning bolt moment that I could then share with you, but it wasn't. It was a series of little tiny, because where I was, I mean, as you mentioned, I was an actor. I've always been an actor. I still work as an actor sometimes, and I loved it, and I was great at it, but it was endless disappointment, you know. It was like I would go to an audition, I would get called back, and I'd get called back, and I'd get called back, and they'd give the part to the other girl. And I'd go to the audition, and I'd get called back, and I'd get called back. It would be between me and the other person, and they'd give it to the other girl. And, you know, so I was getting all this, you know, everybody loved me, and yet no one was hiring me, at least not enough for me to be able to support myself. And that's really frustrating when you feel like you really believe in what you're doing the best you can, everybody's telling you you're doing well, and yet you're not getting the results you want. Like, I'm doing it right, you know, I'm doing it right. Why am I not getting the results?
Right.
And to realize instead that it's not about doing it right, it's about doing you. So when you have a disappointment or a setback, of course it's important to take time to grieve. You know, you've had a loss. It's time to grieve. There's time to recharge. There's times to let the fields lay fallow. You know, there's times of enormous output and interaction, and then times to retreat and be quiet. So on the one hand, we really want to honor that process. There's no should. You should get out of bed. You should feel better about this. No, you feel the way you feel about it. On the other hand, you have a lot more power in this present moment than you're allowing yourself to recognize.
I like that because I think a lot of us sometimes forget that. That's very nice. I know you've got a great new book out, Start Right Where You Are, as I opened up our conversation with, and it's based on the premise that small shifts, in the right direction can yield big results in the realization of our creative process and dreams. Tell us a little bit how so. How can we do that?
Yeah, so the whole book, just to share the joke of the title, sort of is the Start Right Where You Are, How Little Changes Can Make a Big Difference for Overwhelmed Procrastinators, Frustrated Overachievers, and Recovering Perfectionists. And what that means, and the book itself is like 66 very short, tiny little chapters. Some of them are only a page or two, and they each have a little action step. So it's really designed to be the kind of book you can pick up, read a page or two, and go, oh, okay, that's kind of an interesting idea, and then implement that idea right in that moment or later that day. And sometimes these little 1-degree shifts can make an enormous difference. One question I invite people to ask is, how can I make this moment more me? How can I make this moment more me? Because sometimes the question, what do I want, can be a little overwhelming. Like we're I don't know what I want. What do you want? What do you want me to want? What can I do for you? We get confused by that question, what do I want? But how can I make this moment more me? How can I make this conversation more me? This email, this outfit, this dinner? How can you just lean into yourself, to your own natural personality, even just 1%. And when you do that, you are showing up just that much more. You are that much more real, that much more authentic, and that much more present. And when people sense that you are there and present, you will start to get a very different response from people.
Such as?
Well, my experience is they like you. I think we have this feeling of like, oh, if people saw the real me, they wouldn't like me. No, that's really not true. We do like the real you. We like the part of you we can see. And if you let us see just a little bit more, if you let us see how funny you are, or how serious you are, or how gentle and caring you are, whatever it is that the moment calls for, we love other human beings. And you know that when you've had that human moment in line at the airport or at the grocery store, to just have a moment with the person who's checking out your groceries. And all of a sudden you're just a person and they're just a person. And now something that was an errand has become a real union of souls.
I get that. I mean, in your book, you're offering 66 small, doable changes that can lead to massive joy. Give us a sneak preview and at least give me one or two here in Washington, because I'm telling you, it's quite an interesting energy here. What are some of the doable changes to get our joy back in check?
Yeah, so this one is probably my favorite and certainly the most appropriate for that feeling you're describing, that stuck, complicated feeling. And they're all good. I feel like I'm picking a favorite child, right? But this one actually is my favorite. So here's what it is. So you've got a feeling that you can't get out of, right? You're mad. You shouldn't be mad, but you're mad. Or you're grief-stricken, or you're feeling trapped by some story in your past, something that happened a long time ago that's preventing you from moving forward, whatever it is. Make some 5-minute art about it. Make some 5-minute art about it. And what that means is grab a pen and a piece of paper and just make a drawing of how does it feel to be so heartbroken? What does it look like to feel so separate or so divided or so disappointed? Or get up and do a dance about it, or make up a little song, or get out the Sculpey clay, however it is you like to express. Go ahead and lean into that, do that. And here's what happens. 2 things happen when you make some art about it. One is feelings just want to be felt. Feelings just want to be felt. So once a feeling knows that it's been felt, it can get promoted. It can get a better job. And putting your feelings into form, so onto paper, into a dance, into a song, allows you to start to interact with those feelings in a different way. It gives you a slightly different perspective on those feelings. I was talking to a woman the other day who was interviewing me. She had read the book, and she got to that part about the make some 5-minute art, and like a lot of us would do, she went, oh, that's interesting. I should try that sometime. Right? We all do that. Like, oh, yeah, I'll do that sometime. That would be good sometime. As it happened, the very next day, she had a really terrible day at work. A really, like, maybe the day I quit this job, terrible day at work. And she got home and thought, oh, maybe I should make some 5-minute art about it. So she did a drawing, and just, a little stick figure drawing, but it was of her kneeling in the center and everyone around her throwing rocks at her. Because that's how she felt at work, that everybody throwing projects and deadlines and expectations, and she felt like she was being pelted with rocks. And, right? I mean, can't you just feel that, oh, honey, we all have that feeling. And so being able to look at that, she then drew a second drawing of herself still in the center, kneeling, but with a shield around her. And she said the shield was God's love. And she was able to get up and go into work the next day with an entirely different attitude because she knew that she was being protected by the love of God.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Wow, is that as simple as that, huh?
As simple as that.
Right. Now, really, is it true that nothing bad is actually happening to us? I mean, I don't know how you're feeling about the country now, and I think as we move into other days, I mean, change is good, and no one's complaining about it. I think a lot of the stuff that we've been through in the last 15, 16 months, I think it's taken a toll on us emotionally because we ourselves have seen where we have had our own division within our own consciousness, our own divisiveness within our own consciousness. And I don't know if that's what it's touching, but really, is really nothing bad actually happening? Let's just use America, for example, at this time.
Well, yes. The short answer is yes. Nothing bad is happening. And the phrase nothing bad is happening is one I love. I love it for a number of reasons. Partly, there's only one reality. It's not like there's another world in which things are going better, right? And we could say, oh, that's better. This is worse. That would be better. We can imagine that world, but it doesn't actually exist. That's just a picture inside of our mind. So this reality that is happening right now must be good because it is the only one. When there's only one, there's not a better or worse. There's just the one. So, and if we're going to believe in a benevolent universe, then we must bless this as correct. We have to say, yes. How do we know this is what's supposed to be happening? Because this is what's happening. And I think we are being invited to, you talked about that divisiveness, that sense of other. In many ways, that may be what we're being called to heal, is the illusion that someone is different from us. There is not a them. There is only us. We're exactly the same. People everywhere and throughout time have always been exactly the same. If you put all of us on the world's biggest football field, stripped us all naked, took 2 steps back and sort of squinted, you would not be able to tell us apart. We would look like ants, right? Shortest to tallest, darkest to lightest, oldest to youngest. I used to go to this women-only gym, and there were a lot of sort of old Russian women and old Jewish women who would be there, and we'd all be in this little locker room together, and you can see everybody, and there's all these mirrors, and I'm like, here in this locker room, me next to this 80-year-old woman, next to this 20-year-old woman, we look identical. We look much more different with clothes on. With clothes off, we look exactly the same. So, and we're genetically almost identical. We look exactly the same, and we all want the same things. We all want to work and have our work matter. We all want to love and be loved. We all want to tell good jokes and eat good food and have our children do well. That's what everybody wants.
What are your thoughts as to why is it that it seems that we go about trying to see that we all want the same things? Don't you find it quite interesting that we go about it in different ways to achieve it?
I find that brilliant that we go about it in different ways. How incredibly dull would it be if we all went about it in exactly the same way?
Different ways in terms of how it sometimes amplifies emotions that feed fear, lack, insecurity, maybe divisiveness. Thoughts on that?
Well, that's it, right? I mean, it's the ego struggling to be special. We all want to feel like we've got the inside track, like we're right. Like we know best what God wants. We're closest to the truth. We are the morally righteous. We all want to feel that way. And so you've got to mature past that. This is where you're really being called to be a grown-up.
Right, so true. I like that part. We're really being called to be a grown-up.
Because name-calling is name-calling, and I don't care who's calling who what name.
Right. Do you think that we need to take care of ourselves better? I mean, what's a way that we can really dive into self-care without becoming selfish?
Well, this idea that self-care is in any way selfish, I would like to put the big kibosh on that. Because self-care is the opposite of selfish. Right. Here's what is selfish. Here's what selfish really looks like. What selfish really looks like is you or me or someone running around exhausted, stressed out, frantic, with no sense of humor. Like, that's selfish, because the rest of us have to deal with you when you're like that. And you're not fun. This is not you bringing your best self to the party, right? But when you show up rested, calm, cuddled, meditated, creatively fulfilled, we love to see you that way, right? Because now you're really with us, and you're listening, and you have good ideas, and you have a sense of humor, and you don't take everything so personally, and you don't freak out in the parking lot of the Trader Joe's. You can actually be calm and relaxed about things, right? And that's the ultimate generosity.
I love that. That was a beautiful answer, Sam. That was beautiful. Well, what do you hope for many of your readers to take away from your book? Start right where you are.
Yeah, to remember that you get to be 100% in control of how you feel. And you can start that right now. No one is doing anything to you. You get to, and the more you can stay grounded and present in yourself, the more you can breathe, the more you can remember to soften in your judgment of yourself and of other people, the stronger and happier you will be. It's not that bad things won't happen. It's not like unfortunate things won't happen. Of course they will. None of us can escape the pain of life. None of us can escape the pain of life. And everybody gets the same amount of pain. But we also get the same amount of joy. And I think a lot of us aren't allowing ourselves to experience the joy that's possible in every moment because we're so busy pointing fingers.
Yeah, got that. That was beautiful. Leave us with a beautiful vision for yourself and for our world.
My vision of the world, this is what I would love, is to see everybody worldwide spending, 15 minutes a day on the creative projects that matter most to them. Not the ones that matter to everybody else, but the ones that matter to them, the ones that matter to you. And to start talking about those things. I mean, the way we talk about our latest diet plan or our latest yoga booty class, be talking about the model airplane you're designing or the stained glass window you're making or the problem you're trying to solve or the dish you made last night. What is it that lights you up, that allows you to bring your unique creative expression to the world? And spend time on that every single day.
Love it. Thank you so much. Leave us with a website. It was great having you on, and I wish you really all the best with your new release. And Godspeed with you and your good work, definitely. So just let us know where we can find you. You're welcome.
Yes. You can just go to startrightwhereyouare.com. Startrightwhereyouare.com.
Beautiful.
There's a bunch of free resources there, and you can get the book and all kinds of stuff.
Lots of good wishes your way, Sam.
Thank you so much.
And take care. Bye-bye. So there are so many things that we can do to just be in the present and to be aware of the work that we are here to do. And Sam Bennett has just offered us a wonderful insight in how to do that. I hope you liked our discussion today, our little simple chit-chat. I'm looking forward to having Nick Askew from Soul Biographies at the Meditation Museum on November 30th. So hopefully you could join us for that. I think that's going to be one powerful experience. So remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission. And we are here to love each other the same. So let's take some time to look for the light. Bye, Bliss. Take care.
Wherever there's darkness, there's also light. Always shining, even in darkest of days. Putting your attention on the light will grow until the darkness is completely erased. every cloud, within every soul. Power of attention can transform your life, making you whole by favoring the light that everywhere glows. To dwell on the thorn or delight in the rose. Choice is there in every situation. Choose to keep your attention on the light. Your life will flow in the beauty of God's creation. Look for the light that always shines behind every cloud, within every soul. Power of attention can transform your life, making you whole by favoring the light that everywhere glows.